always thought the worst kind of betrayal came from lovers. Turns out, nothing cuts deeper than family. My name is Ava Calder, I'm 25, and until 3 months ago, I believed the Calder family business, Calder and Company. Fine interiors would someday be mine to help run, expand, maybe even transform. My grandfather built it from a dusty warehouse into a regional brand. He used to sit me on his knee, point at his blueprints, and say, "One day, Ava, you'll take this farther than I ever did." I held on to those words like a promise. Turns out, I was the only one who believed them. The night everything shifted wasn't some dramatic movie scene. No thunderstorm, no shouting match in the hallways. It was just a boardroom after closing hours, stale air, and people I trusted pretending they didn't see me shaking. My father, Thomas, sat at the head of the table, fingers laced, jaw tight. Across from him, my stepmother, Elise, with her perfect glossy hair and a smile that always felt 1 inch away from a smirk. My older half-brother, Grant, sprawled in his chair like he owned the place already. I walked in holding a folder of proposals for our upcoming boutique expansion. I had spent weeks polishing it. Endless nights. I thought the meeting was about reviewing it. I was naive. "Ava," my father said, barely looking up, "we've made a decision." That sentence. God. My palms still sweat remembering it. Elise leaned forward. The family agreed it's time for stronger leadership. Experienced leadership. I blinked. Stronger than who? No one answered, because they didn't need to. I felt the ground shift beneath me. Grant slid a folder across the table toward me. "We're restructuring, Dad, and I will be taking full operational authority for now. Your role," he paused for dramatic flair, "will be paused indefinitely." Paused. Like I was a podcast they could hit stop on. I laughed at first because it had to be a joke. "I've been working on this project for months." Grandpa wanted. "Ava," my father cut me off, voice flat, "this isn't about your grandfather." Except it was. Everything in our family always was. When Grandpa died a year ago, the business should have gone into a fair 3-way management transition. My father, Grant, and me. Grandpa insisted on it in front of all of us. But the will was in review. Always in review. Always delayed. Elise's lawyer friends made sure of that. I felt heat rise in my chest. "This is Elise's idea," I snapped. "Isn't it?" She didn't flinch. She actually smiled. "We're trying to protect the company." My voice cracked. "From me? I've been the only one actually working." The room went silent. Heavy, deliberate silence. The kind that tells you a decision was made long before you arrived. "You'll still receive your family dividends," my father said, like that was supposed to comfort me. "Take some time for yourself. Travel. Rest." Rest. They were exiling me. My throat closed. "You're pushing me out." No one denied it. Grant shrugged. "It's not personal." That was the moment something in me not broke, but split. Detached. The version of me that still believed in family loyalty died, right there in that polished boardroom. I walked out without taking the envelope they offered me. I didn't want their hush money, their sympathy cash, their pathetic attempt to soften the blow. When I got home, my grandfather's old drafting table, my last connection to him, was gone. Elise had reorganized the space. My sketches, my prototypes, the models I had built by hand shoved into boxes. Something inside me snapped. I packed a suitcase, grabbed my laptop, and walked out of that house with exactly $847 in my bank account and no plan. Only one thought echoed in my head. If they don't want me in the family, I'll build a life where they can't touch me. But the universe has a cruel sense of timing. Because the very next day, while I was standing in a gas station parking lot, wondering where the hell I'd sleep that night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Message preview. "We need to talk about your grandfather's real will." My entire world tilted. I stared at the message, heart hammering, knowing nothing was over. Not even close. I don't usually trust unknown numbers, but that text felt like a hand reaching out of the past, like my grandfather himself tugging on my sleeve. So I called. A man answered on the first ring. Steady voice. Older. Professional. "Ava Calder?" Yes. My name is Michael Rowan. I was your grandfather's estate attorney.
Was.
Past tense. My stomach twisted. I need to meet with you, he continued. Privately. It concerns documents your father has not disclosed. My pulse spiked. Where are you? I asked. Stillwater Coffee on 9th. 10 minutes. I didn't even have to think. I grabbed my bag, jumped into my old Corolla, and drove faster than I should have. The sky was gray, heavy, matching the knot in my chest. When I walked into the cafe, Michael saw me instantly. Silver hair, neat suit, eyes that looked like they'd seen too many secrets. He stood, shook my hand, and got straight to it. Your grandfather prepared a second will, he said, low enough that the barista steaming milk couldn't overhear. One he kept separate from the formal filing. My heart thudded, so hard it hurt. Why didn't anyone tell me? Michael sighed. Because your father and stepmother have been suppressing it since the funeral. A cold wave ran through me. Suppressing a legal will. That wasn't just a family betrayal. That was criminal. He slid a thick envelope across the table. My name was written on it in my grandfather's handwriting. I nearly choked on air. Hands shaking, I pulled the papers out. My grandfather had left 51% of the Calder business to me. Not my father. Not Grant.
Me.
He wrote paragraphs explaining why. How he trusted my vision, my work ethic, my heart. How he feared the business would rot under those who only see profit, not purpose. I couldn't breathe for a second.
He believed in me.
He'd always believed in me. So, I whispered, they hid this so they could force me out. Michael nodded grimly. They forged an agreement claiming you relinquished future managerial stake. It won't hold up in court, but they're hoping you don't fight. My hands curled into fists. I suddenly remembered Elise's perfect smile during that boardroom ambush. Grant's smug shrug. My father not even meeting my eyes. They didn't just push me out. They stole what was mine. I swallowed hard. What do I do now? Michael leaned forward. This will gives you controlling ownership. But ownership means nothing if you don't reclaim your position publicly, before they manipulate the staff and investors into siding with them. You need allies. Evidence. Leverage. Leverage. The word rolled through my mind like a spark finding fuel. Why are you helping me? I asked quietly. Your grandfather made me promise, he said. If the family turned predatory, which he feared, they would try to eliminate your voice. My job is to ensure you still have one. My throat tightened painfully. He must have known. He must have seen this coming. Michael placed a USB drive on the table. On here is a recording of your grandfather dictating the second will, and emails between him and me expressing concern about your father's intentions. My breath caught. This is enough to bring the whole company down. Exactly, he said. Which is why we don't go public yet. If your father realizes you have this, he'll go nuclear. You need time.
Distance.
Planning.
Time.
Distance. Planning. 3 things I suddenly had. I left home. I admitted quietly. I have no idea where I'm even sleeping tonight. Michael studied me closely. Do you want out, he asked, or do you want to take back what's yours? I stared down at the papers in my hands, my grandfather's handwriting looping across every margin, every note full of hope, trust, belief. I want what's mine, I said. And I meant it with every cell in my body. Michael nodded once, approvingly. Then here's what I suggest. Go somewhere safe. Somewhere they won't look. Start building your own version of the story before they build theirs. And do not contact any member of your family until I give the green light.
Can you do that?
I thought of Elise's cold eyes. Grant's lazy arrogance. My father choosing them over me. Yes, I said. Good. I'll be in touch within a week. He stood, shook my hand again, and left. Just like that. I stayed sitting there long after he was gone, staring at the will, trying to understand how my life had flipped in 24 hours. I had gone from unemployed daughter no one wants to legal owner of the entire family empire. But power doesn't come clean. Not in my family. My phone buzzed suddenly. A call from my stepmother. My stomach tightened. I declined the call. A text popped up instantly. Ava, we need to talk.
Now.
Then another from Grant. Don't do anything stupid. Then a third from my father. Just 3 words. Come home. Alone. A cold chill slid down my spine. They knew something was slipping out of their control. They didn't know how much. And I finally realized I wasn't the scared girl from the boardroom anymore. Whatever came next, I wasn't running. I was preparing. But they had no idea how far I was willing to go to reclaim what they stole. I didn't go home. I didn't even stay in the same part of the city. Instead, I drove until the skyline disappeared behind fields and hills, and everything felt quiet enough for me to breathe again. I ended up in a rundown roadside motel, the kind with flickering neon lights and a vending machine that only takes quarters. I paid for a week in cash. No credit cards. No paper trail. My family wanted me alone.
Fine.
I'd be alone on my terms. That night, I spread out Michael's documents across the scratchy motel bedspread. Grandfather's second will. His handwritten notes. The email chain where he warned Michael that my father was already probing ways to streamline leadership toward a singular heir. A singular heir. Meaning Grant. It felt like puzzle pieces sliding into place, forming an ugly picture. They had spent a year strategically cutting me out, shrinking my responsibilities, dismissing my ideas, questioning my loyalty. They didn't want a family. They wanted a dynasty with me conveniently erased. I wasn't crying anymore. That part of me shut down after the boardroom ambush. Now I was cold, focused, almost frighteningly calm. Still, the messages kept coming. Elise, we're worried about you. Please answer. Grant, seriously, Ava, don't drag everyone into drama. Dad, call me. This is getting childish. Childish. God, that word stung more than anything. As if they hadn't stripped me of my life in a single evening. I blocked all 3. The next morning, I woke up early, grabbed my laptop, and walked to a tiny diner across the parking lot. I chose a booth in the corner where I could see the entrance. If my family tracked me down, I wanted a head start. I started making a list, a real, ruthless list, of everything I need to take back control of Calder and Company. 1. Leverage Michael's files, check. 2. Allies inside the company. 3. Proof of mismanagement by Dad or Grant. 4. The real will presented at the right moment. 5. A brand new professional identity, so they can't smear me first. Number 2 was the hardest. My father had built the company into a place where loyalty flowed upward, not sideways. Employees respected him or feared him. Elise knew how to charm people. Grant knew how to intimidate them. Me? I was the girl who tried too hard. The girl who stayed late. The girl who actually cared. Which in my family made me weak. I sipped my coffee, staring out the window, wondering where the hell to begin when the bell above the diner door chimed. I didn't look up at first, but I heard footsteps, hesitant, slow, approaching my booth. Then a soft voice.
Ava.
My heart slammed against my ribs.
No. No way.
I looked up and froze. Standing there was Jenna Park, my grandfather's former executive assistant. One of the only people I ever trusted inside the company. If anyone had seen something, anything, it was her. Jenna? I whispered. What are you doing here? She sank into the seat across from me, glancing around nervously. I tried calling you, she said. Your number wasn't working. I had to find another way. Did my family send you? Her eyes widened.
God, no.
Ava, they don't even know I quit.
Quit?
My jaw dropped.
Why?
She inhaled shakily. Because your stepmother made it very clear that my loyalty should be with her, not with you or your grandfather's legacy. She asked me to provide her copies of your project files before they removed you. My stomach twisted. They were planning it for months. For a year, Jenna corrected softly. Ever since the will went missing. I exhaled sharply. You knew about the second will? No, she said. I only knew something was wrong. After your grandfather died, your father became paranoid. Meetings became secretive. Elise showed up everywhere with those attorneys. And Grant, he kept bragging he'd be the future face of the company. I clenched my teeth. I remembered those smug comments. I just never realized he meant it literally. Jenna leaned in. Ava, you're in danger. The diners seemed to freeze. What do you mean? I asked quietly. She swallowed. I overheard Elise telling your father that if you got in the way, she'd handle it. She didn't say how, but she's not bluffing. They can't let you come back. Not after everything they've set up. A cold wave prickled up my arms. I wasn't surprised. Not really. Just horrified that my instincts had been right. Why are you helping me? I whispered. She gave a sad, crooked smile. Because your grandfather helped me when I was 19 and sleeping in my car. He paid for my classes. Gave me my first job. And he always said you were the only light left in that family. My throat tightened painfully. But there's something else, she added. Something you need to see. She slid her phone across the table. A video was open. Security footage. I pressed play. It showed my father's office, late at night, weeks after my grandfather's funeral. My father.
Elise. Grant.
A document on the desk. My father signing something. Grant countersigning. Elise handing them a replacement page to staple in. It hit me like a punch to the chest. They forged my grandfather's estate transition plan. Right there. On camera. I felt lightheaded. This is evidence, Jenna whispered. Enough to take the company back. Enough to bury them. I stared at the screen until the image blurred. There it was. The truth. Everything they tried to hide. Everything they tried to destroy me to protect. I wasn't just fighting for a business anymore. I was fighting for justice. For my grandfather. For the girl they tried to erase. I looked at Jenna. My voice was steadier than I felt. Then we start tonight. Jenna nodded. Tell me what you need. And for the first time since the boardroom ambush,
I felt something ignite inside me.
not rage, not revenge,
Purpose.
I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a minute. My motel room was covered in papers, screenshots, timestamps, the USB from Michael, and Jenna's security footage. Every piece of evidence felt like a brick in the foundation of something huge, something that could either save me or destroy the entire Calder family. But I wasn't scared anymore. Just steady. Focused. Like my grandfather used to be when he was drafting a plan no one else could see. Jenna stayed with me until nearly 3 a.m, talking through timelines, filing structures, who in the company might still support me. She'd always been observant, more than anyone gave her credit for. You're not alone, she said before leaving. It was the first time in weeks I actually believed it. By sunrise, I knew exactly what I had to do. Not hide, not wait, not negotiate. I had to go straight to the company. Not through the front doors like a polite daughter. Through the boardroom, like an owner. I wore the simplest thing I had left. Black trousers, white blouse, hair tied back. No theatrics. No power suit.
Just me.
Jenna met me at the employee entrance. When she saw me, she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath all night. You ready? She asked. I was. For the first time, I truly was. We took the back elevator up to the 17th floor, executive level. Calder and company looked exactly how we left it. Polished, warm, deceptively elegant. Beautiful on the surface. Rotting underneath. When the elevator doors slid open, an assistant at the reception desk blinked in shock.
Ava?
You, I thought. Good morning, I said calmly. Call a full board session.
Now.
She hesitated. But then Jenna stepped forward, her voice like steel. It's a command for majority ownership. The assistant froze, then picked up the phone. I didn't wait. I walked straight into the glass conference room where they tried to erase me. My father was already there. So was Elise. Face stiff, eyes narrow. Grant walked in last, looking irritated and hungover. Ava, my father said, voice low, we asked you to come home quietly. Not. This is me being quiet, I said. Then I dropped the thick envelope of documents onto the table. The sound echoed like a gunshot. What is this? Elise snapped. The truth, I answered. I didn't give a speech. I didn't cry. I didn't raise my voice. I simply pressed play on Jenna's video. My father's face blanched. Grant swore under his breath. Elise didn't move. She just stared, expression tightening millimeter by millimeter. The board members, 5 of them, looked horrified. This, I said softly, is footage of you altering my grandfather's transition documents. Silence.
Heavy.
Suffocating. I reached into the envelope and pulled out the second will. And this is the document you tried to bury. The head board member, Mr. Reed, adjusted his glasses. Thomas, he said slowly, is this authentic? My father didn't answer. Because he couldn't. I slid the USB drive onto the table, with my grandfather's voice dictating the will, verified by his attorney. Michael stepped into the room just then, right on cue. He had the formal submission packet in hand. My father's voice cracked. Ava, you don't understand. No, I said quietly. You don't. I looked at each of them, one by one. You pushed me out of the company my grandfather wanted me to lead. You stole my work. You lied to my face. You made me doubt myself so deeply I almost disappeared. Elise slammed her palm onto the table. We did what was best for the company. You're a child. You weren't ready. And forging legal documents is the mature choice. I asked. She opened her mouth, closed it, turned pale. Jenna stepped forward. I can testify to everything. So can the timestamp logs. My father finally spoke.
Soft. Weak.
Why are you doing this? I stared at him, really stared, because for years I believed he was the one person in my family who still had a heart. But he had watched them destroy me.
And he didn't stop them.
I'm not doing this to hurt you, I said. I'm doing this because you already hurt me, and I'm done letting you. Mr. Reed cleared his throat. This is serious. Very serious. If these allegations are verified. They already are, Michael interjected, placing the notarized portfolio before him. And as of this morning, the amended will is formally recognized. A hush fell over the room. Mr. Reed looked at me. Ava, do you intend to press charges? I could feel all their eyes on me, waiting, trembling. No, I said softly. My father sagged in relief. Yet, he froze. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to reclaim what's mine, what my grandfather trusted me with. I want the company, and I want all 3 of them removed from operations immediately. The board members whispered among themselves. Even from across the room, I heard it. She has the controlling share. We have no choice. She owns the company. Finally, Mr. Reed raised his hand. All in favor of transferring active leadership to Ava Calder? One by one, hands lifted. Even those who had always sided with my father. One abstained. None opposed. Mr. Reed turned to me. Congratulations, Ms. Calder. Calder and Company is now under your direction. I exhaled. A long, shaking breath I'd been holding for a year. My father stared at me with something between grief and fear. Grant stormed out, swearing. Elise tried to speak, but Michael calmly reminded her that anything she said could be used against her in the upcoming audit. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. But as I walked out of that boardroom, I passed my grandfather's old portrait. And for the first time since he died, I felt like I hadn't failed him. I'd done the one thing he always wanted. I stood up for myself. Jenna caught up to me in the hallway. So, what now? I looked at the office doors swinging behind us, where the Calder Empire had tried to crush me, erase me, break me.
Now,
I said, letting myself finally breathe. We rebuild. Better.
cleaner.
Without lies. She smiled. Your grandfather would be proud. I felt tears rise, and this time, I let them come. Not out of pain, but out of relief. This was the end of the war, but the beginning of my life. My name is Ava Calder, and I'm done running. I'm done breaking. This is my company now. My family's legacy. My future. I walked toward the elevator with my head high, leaving the ruins of their lies behind me. And for the first time in a long, long time, I felt whole.